Hi everyone, this is Dr. Teresa Dale. It's great to be with you. You are on Natural Health Radio. And today is a marvelous day. The sun's out. It's Tuesday. And it's February 25th. Right? Hi, Daryl.
Greetings, Dr. Dale. How are you today? You look marvelous as always.
Thank you. Feel really good. And having a really busy schedule and but you know, I've got this important information that I've been thinking about what to bring you, and I've been getting some information from people on Facebook as far as what you want to know about, and one of those things was about what about antibiotics and how to counteract their effect on the body? What do they do to the body? And some statistics about how many are given each year, and to the extent of what we're dealing with, it's absolutely huge. So I brought something. I wrote down a few facts and figures here, and I wanted to give them to you today so you understand that antibiotics and drugs are a business. Yeah, they are. And what that means is that you could be approached any minute, anywhere, even in I don't want to say the word, but even in pharmacies and different things like that, you could be approached for a flu shot or something that will sell a drug. And so there's a word that you could really practice using, and that's no thank you. No, thank you. Any different language you want to say that. If they don't understand in English, try in Russian, niet, or in German, nix. You could say it in so many different languages because it seems like most of them don't understand English, that when a person says no, that this is their power to say no. It's their body. It's your body. You have the right to say no about anything. You know, you have the right to say no about medication, how you're treated. If you go to a health provider and something feels off and you feel pretty good, you know, your blood testing comes back pretty good, and you know, you've been told that you have some critical disease, that you're going to die. I mean, I would start getting different opinions on that, right? So we need to know some things about antibiotics. I want to share that with you. It's pretty shocking, but you may be more shocked than you think you would be, okay? Because these are real facts and figures that I accumulate through research. So when I get that research, I write about it and I bring it here to you. One of the things that's new at the Wellness Center is we're going to be having blogging. Blogging is going to be happening like a big deal, a lot. And I've got a great person to do that and to help me with that. And you're going to go to thewellnesscenter.net, click on blog. Now, as of today, it's not where it needs to be yet. It's up there, but it's not the right thing. We're not ready. We're just working on it. So it should be within the next week. By the end of this week, we'll have our blog going. And it's free. And you could ask questions. You could comment. You can reply. You could give information. You could do whatever you want to do. It's called Health Freedom. So thank you for blowing me kisses. I get that. One thing we can't do on the radio without Facebook is I can't tell when you're blowing me kisses on radio unless we're on Facebook Live, and then I see these little things happen. This is very cute. So, all right, we're going to have a new blog. We're working on it. The word blog is there, but right now it's not complete. So wait a few days and then go there, and you'll see some things happening there. We want to make sure that we continue connecting with you, because the whole reason I'm doing this in my life is to connect with you. This is the reason why I'm doing my work, is to enable you to heal yourself, to become more educated and happy, have a better life, healthier life, happier life. And that comes through education, perseverance, passion for what you do in life, whatever that may be, okay? And the ability to change. Change is a big thing. You know, I was talking to a doctor this week because I train health providers, and one of them said, is there anything that natural medicine can't cure? Like when something doesn't work with using natural medicine, why? And I go, well, here's the reasons. It's because the provider did not look at the dental situation, which causes a lot, if not most, health issues, including spinal issues, including issues everywhere in the body and brain, and mental issues. That root canals and dental issues can actually cause those and affect your neurology because they get infected. So that's number one thing is the dental. And then we have other reasons why something doesn't heal is besides that you haven't looked deep enough with a professional like a naturopath or a chiropractor or somebody who can test your teeth, or electrodiagnosis, somebody who's trained in that who can test your teeth. And then the next thing would be a person who is resistant once they know about their dental, who doesn't do it, okay, who doesn't do anything, who doesn't want to change, who's resistant. So resistance to change is a big issue because by having a resistance to changing something and doing something that you need to do, that you believe is important, but you're just resisting doing it. By resisting, you're actually creating such big issues in your life, including death. Okay? So if you have dietary changes that you need to make and you resist doing it, there you go. There's another resistance. If you have, whether it's dental issues or maybe it's environmental issues, where maybe you live like next to a nuclear plant, or you list, now people do that. I mean, they live very close to it. You could see it from their front door like it's next door, and they go, oh, well, my house, I love my house. And they're suffering from radiation poisoning. And that means they're going to, for the sake of their house, they're not going to move because of that. So that's a resistance. And that is, you know, I do everything humanly possible to help people get through that. But sometimes they're just not going to do what they need to do. Another issue is that people do not work on their emotions, and they are not educated about their emotions. And once they are, and they know and they are educated, some people just don't want to work on them. And that's resistance. That's a resistance to change. So I would say that if doctors always gave you, consumers, the general public, the correct information, the correct testing, and you decide not to do part of it or all of it, that resistance can cause serious chronic and maybe even fatal conditions in your life. One thing that you're thinking right now is, what about genetics? Okay, your genes do not control who you are. Your mind does. Your epigenetics. There's something called epigenetics, and that is the ability to change your mind, change your belief systems, change the way that you live, change your lifestyle. So through positivity and epigenetics, you can change anything. Your genes do not create and cause, they do not control your health. You are in control of your genes, okay? Remember that. And, I just want to say that there are very few things that can't be fixed, okay, when it comes to using natural medicines. Now, the thing that we're talking about right now, if you're just coming in, is that change is the thing that would make and keep you sick, is your ability to do the things you need to do for yourself, and that somebody has given you the information for, and you're educated in it and everything like that. And if you just decide, no, I don't want to do that, or no, I know I'm toxic in nuclear radiation, but I'm just not going to move my house. I'm going to continue to live next to that nuclear plant. It's like, then there's nothing that can be done. Okay, it's not up to going to another doctor. Some patients go from one doctor to another, and they do this because they're thinking that they've been given the wrong information, or that they want to get different information. And then when everybody keeps telling them the same thing and they don't do it, you just have to tell the patient, excuse the patient, and say, I'm sorry, I just can't, if you don't let me help you, then it's not going to work. You have to allow someone to help you and do what you need to do. That is the key. Okay, you need to do it. All right. So one of the things we really need to drill down on here is the amount of antibiotics that people take every year. And I wanted to give you some of this information. So these are current facts, okay? 269.4 million courses of antibiotics are written in the outpatient setting every year. It's 269.4 million prescriptions of antibiotics alone, just antibiotics, not your statin drugs and everything else, just antibiotics. Now that equals, when you do the math, that equals 4 prescriptions are written each year for every 5 people in the United States. All right? And also, up to 35% of United States adults, and this research is from the U.S., what I'm giving you. This is not over the world. This is just the United States, all of it. 35% of U.S. adults experience gastrointestinal disease and distress when taking an antibiotic. If they continue doing that, it can cause a disease, but in the beginning, they're going to experience gastrointestinal distress when taking an antibiotic. Up to 25% of women experience vaginal side effects when taking an antibiotic. Could be candida, could be a number of other things. 40%, up to 40% of children experience gastrointestinal distress when taking an antibiotic. So we have to understand that this information is valid, and we can keep this in mind and find alternatives to antibiotics. So I'm going to give you that today. Anybody can do this, all right? So get a piece of paper out, stay tuned. Also, according to the Cleveland Clinic, the most reliable way to avoid gastrointestinal distress is to take a probiotic. Now, I have a better way, which is don't take antibiotics. Then you don't need to go buy probiotics. And they're going to work short term. Now, the British Medical Journal notes that probiotics support the prevention of gastrointestinal distress by helping good bacteria to outcompete bad bacteria, stimulating an immune response and improving the intestinal system's natural barriers. Now, probiotics are great to take, but you could avoid gastrointestinal distress completely from antibiotics if you just find another way to deal with things other than taking antibiotics, okay? Now you're probably saying, why and how and, what do I need to do, right? So there's a few things that work on every human being and every child, and I'm going to give them to you. One is I make a product called nanoionic silver. So it's a ionic, high-potency silver that is in a liquid that you can spray in your mouth, on your throat, for candida, for strep, for staph, and for infected teeth, right? So it's called nanoionic silver. That's one thing. You can also spray that on cuts or on any open wound. You can spray it. And I've used it for I had an eye infection and I used it for that and it worked. I sprayed it, right in my eye because I make the product. I know it's clean. So, but the point is, I'm not recommending you go home and spray these things in your eyes, all right? I'm just, because that could be have liability for me. So I'm just saying use common sense, but silver is the way to go for these different kinds of bacterias. And strep and staph, including MRSA, MRSA, you can use that, spray it topically, spray it orally. You can spray it anywhere on your body, and it is awesome. The other thing that's very good, okay, to break up congestion in the body. Let's say you have bronchial congestion and you want to break it up. What does a great job is something you can find in a health food store. I make it too. Mine is not from China. It's really clean, but it's called N-acetylcysteine. N-acetylcysteine, Cysteine, okay? And this is a natural supplement, vitamin, and it breaks up congestion. So when you take it, wherever the congestion is in your body, if it's in your bronchial tubes, if it's in your gallbladder and you're having gallbladder pain, wherever it is the congestion is in your body, wherever that is living at the moment, you want to take like 4 of the N-acetylcysteines all at once, and then you'll feel relief. You'll definitely feel relief for any congestion. So it's not just for bronchial, it's for any congestion in the body. Think about the body and how it can get congested. The other thing that's really, really good to prevent needing to succumb to antibiotics would be, one of the things would be to get rid of the pathogens in your body, right? That's an obvious thing, and you can do that well by getting rid of the biofilm that is produced by pathogens. And so I have a product for health providers that you can probably find on my website. It's called Biofilm Detox, and that cleanses out the biofilm in your body, in your gut, in everywhere in your body. It cleanses it out, okay? With it come the pathogens that secreted it. Now, that may leave some pathogens that are left over in your body, and you can use the silver orally, put it in water, spray it in your mouth. You could use it that way. So what I would do is get rid of biofilm. Number one, I would use the silver. I would also use for congestion NaC, for any kinds of things that you would need antibiotics for. If it's the flu or flu-like symptoms, the FDA wants us now to use flu-like symptoms instead of the flu. Okay, we're looking at something that I created that is around the world. It is one of my best products. It's called All Flu, and it has 9 ingredients that will handle any type of flu that can be created, manufactured, that can be experienced, that is around. It's called all flu, and it works prophylactically as well as working for chronic and acute flu. You can use it as for children, for adults, and it works right away. And so because it has all of these different ingredients, so it's like a broad spectrum, and then your body picks out what it needs. And if there's something in there your body doesn't need in a homeopathic remedy, this remedy just doesn't, all of it doesn't work. Your body just picks out what it needs. That's the beauty of homeopathy, because you can't get sick or toxic from it. So you definitely, as far as taking anything for flu, you want to use the all flu, which is homeopathy. It's researched, proven, and it's inexpensive. And so I mean, I think it's very inexpensive. It might be $16 for a bottle that'll last you for a while. So you want to check that out. Okay, so here's a few good things. Now, if you're in a health food store and you need to get something immediately, you might try olive leaf extract. And oregano oil is also very good, but it's very strong. You need to take a lot of it to make a difference. And olive leaf extract has phenomenal capabilities. So I would look at the olive leaf extract and the other things that I mentioned. I feel that everyone has the right to heal themselves and to be educated. And that's what we do here every week, is we bring you information that you can use. And you could, like right now, if you're having an infection in your mouth or somewhere in your body, you know what you can do. You can get the olive leaf extract. You can get also high dosages of vitamin C, 3,000 milligrams or more, would be very helpful for the immune system. But you got to handle the biofilm. You got to get rid of the biofilm that is produced by the pathogens, because it acts like a cloaking device in Star Wars, and they secrete it to protect themselves so they're not killed. Okay, so there you go. That is, I think, the thing to do for any pathogen is get rid of the biofilm. And biofilm, you can also get it. How do you get the pathogens in the ears? An easy way to describe this is that when you go to the bathroom and you touch the doorknob, or if you're in the hospital and you're visiting somebody and you touch a railing or you touch a door, when people like the doctors are traveling from one little room to another, or people are coming in, there's biofilm on their hands, they touch things, you're going to pick up something there. Okay, so it's everywhere. It's also on catheters. It's also can be on plates. If you have a plate in your body, some kind of a titanium plate or a hip replacement, if they touch it before they put it in, it's very possible that their hands had biofilm on it. We've seen this before in helping people get well. And, the hospital, the way that I feel is that it's really not a good place to go, and, at all, right? In any way, shape, or form. So you want to do your best to stay well so that you don't ever need to go there, because this is not a place to get well. This is a place where there's pathogens all over the place. And you have to learn that there's certain things naturally that will kill them. But if you're in the hospital, you can't go to the store. You can't suggest or tell them, I want all flu, or I want this, or I would want that. I mean, that would be great, but that's not this traditional medical model that we're dealing with. So we need to know that when you take an antibiotic, you're going to strong possibility of getting candida. That's and that the longer you take the antibiotic, the more stubborn that candida will be to get rid of later. And some people are on antibiotics for a long time because the infection is not going away. Why would an infection not go away? Well, it could be that you have an infection in a tooth, in a root canal, or where an implant is, or somewhere in a natural tooth that hasn't been dealt with, or you have bacteria there. That is, of course, bacteria is a pathogen. So we need to look at all of these little things. And one of the greatest things that, as I said, that I like for pathogens that works really well is my super silver. And the silver is ionic, so it's cell ready, it's bioavailable, never going to cause toxicity like colloidal silver because the molecules are bigger, and that means the cell doesn't absorb everything, and then the toxins go to the rest of your body. So you want to avoid colloidal minerals, and you want to completely avoid trace minerals because they have traces of mercury, arsenic, nickel, and other lovely little heavy metals in them, and we certainly don't need any of those. We never have a deficiency in mercury, nickel, arsenic, or tin or copper. We just don't. I mean, we don't need that in our body. That's a toxin. It's a heavy metal. So you want to avoid taking trace minerals because they include trace amounts of heavy metals from the earth, wherever they're taking the deposit of trace minerals from. Okay, so our minerals are not trace minerals. They're ionic. They're produced with a water vaporizing system that it's a little bit lengthy to describe, but I can tell you that there is absolutely no heavy metals in it, and there's no toxicity, which is the most important thing. So as far as antibiotics, taking them, we understand the 269.4 million people in the United States every year that are taking them. The rest of the world uses homeopathy. Okay, they use things like All-Flu, they use silver, they use natural things, including in hospitals. They give you homeopathic medicine. So I'm not telling you anything that is not been tried and true for the last 100 to 200 years, when in the case of homeopathic medicine, it's been around for 200 years. So we know that it's awesome. And what you need to do if you're not familiar with it, then you can read some articles on my website or other websites or Wikipedia or wherever you need to go to educate yourself even more. If you are a member of our wellness club, you will be educated inside of the members area. We have all education in there, and also protocols for healing and helping yourself. Now, that's going to cost $20 a month, and you can email me anytime you want and ask a question at no additional charge. And you can also make appointments, should that be what you feel like you need to do. And I oftentimes think people can help themselves without an appointment. It's just that people get fearful that they can't do it themselves. And I would say that maybe the first time, if this is new to you, an appointment would definitely help, because I could teach you, train you, discuss it. And then you'll be making notes and learning, okay? And then perhaps you'll have a better idea of how to implement certain things we discuss. So I just want to tell you that we have so much research available for you related to taking antibiotics and fixing the results of it, including candida remedies and all these kinds of things. But, we also talked in the beginning of the show about the most difficult things, to change and why. And that is, as far as our health goes, change and our complete healing can happen if you're willing to change the things that you need to change, whether it's moving or whether it's stopping eating all of the deep fried butter. It's like I know people who have come in and said, oh, I went to the fair and I had deep fried butter. And I go, God, and you're still standing here. Or deep fried Twinkies. And, so people try different things. That's great. But there's certain things you don't want to try. And those are a couple of them. Have you ever been to a fair and seen those things, Daryl?
I've seen them. I've not had them. The closest thing I've come to is the funnel cake. I've had a funnel cake.
Oh, okay. I don't even know what that is.
It's just batter and grease and powdered sugar and whipped cream.
God, my body would really not like me if I did that, right? And it's like, talking about whipped cream. There is this new thing in the health food store called Cocoa Whip. It's coconut, like whipped cream that tastes just as good.
It sounds good, but it also sounds intriguing from other aspects as well.
Okay, whatever you think. But what we need to do here is take a look at how to help you. We want to avoid drugs and antibiotics, and we do that through education. Through your education, through education of the general public, all is possible. Think about other countries. The stats that I gave you today are just from the United States alone. Other countries don't have these issues because they do not have widespread use of antibiotics and other things that are, all the drugs and everything like that. Really, truly, they'd rather do homeopathy. It's cheaper, it works. If you're in the hospital, they use it to get you out, because if you stay in the hospital in one of these other countries, like Switzerland or Germany, it costs them more money. So they want to use the thing that's going to work. That's the most important thing, right? So homeopathy works, and you can do homeopathic medicine. You can do it vaginally, suppositories for candida. You can find that online somewhere. You can also have rectal homeopathic remedies for hemorrhoids that are fantastic, and all of this works like quickly. Right? And you can use it transdermally, like the Nufem homeopathic hormone rejuvenation creams that I made. And you can also do it by IV. You can do homeopathic IV, intravenous, and you can also do homeopathic intramuscular. Homeopathy works so well in other countries. They have it in a variety of forms for a variety of different reasons. You can find the vaginal and the rectal suppositories. If you look for those on the website, I don't have them on my website, but if you look at them, you'll find them on the internet, and you can order those. Now, it's very important that you feel confident that you really want to heal yourself, like you're confident you want to heal yourself, you want to empower yourself. And I think an important thing is that when you're trying to make these changes, you need positive support. And if you are living with people, I hate to say it like that, but if you are living with people, married to people, having a relationship with someone who is not supporting your decision, I would really communicate about that, say your feelings about that, and do whatever you need to do to be around people who support you, whatever that means to you. I mean, because if you want to make a step from A to B and handle a certain issue, and you're constantly getting told by someone that you're wrong, don't do that, I mean, this is like not going to help you. This is not going to help you. So you need to find people that will empower you, support you to heal, and who love you enough to do that. Otherwise, people, when they perhaps mean well and are telling you not to do it because of whatever reason, it's because of their fear. Okay, their fear has nothing to do with you, has to do with their fear. So you have to live with their fear, and that affects your moving forward and having positive communication with someone, empowering communication with someone. When people are wanting their spouse to do the traditional methodology, now, not saying the traditional methodology wouldn't work for the person, but it could have serious side effects that in and of themselves could be fatal. But when they're doing that, it's because they're afraid, because they don't want to lose you, because they love you. Yet, they have never learned how to support you. Okay? So, supporting you in your decision and being helpful to you in your decision is what needs to happen. That's exactly what needs to happen. So I have seen it so many times when, Daryl, I've had a patient coming in and this person really wanted to get well, and they brought their significant other, man or woman. And the significant other said, well, I think she should do what the doctor said. And, you find out, what did the doctor say? Well, this drug, this drug, this drug, this surgery, this drug. And you just start reading to them the side effects of what could happen. And then you recommend getting a second opinion and other options, like there's other options that they can do. And when a person closes their ears and they just don't want to hear it, it's their problem. It's not the patient's problem, but yet they have to deal with it.
And all of a sudden, you as a physician become a surrogate family member and, advise them the right path and the right thing to do through love.
Right. And as a traditional naturopath and certified clinical nutritionist and biological medical consultant, I think that love is one of the most important things you can give your patients. Now, contrary to traditional medicine, where I feel, and through communicating with so many wonderful doctors, that they are trained not to get too involved.
That's true. They keep their distance. Now, when a spouse comes in and has these opinions that they should stay the course and pay attention to the allopathic doctor's orders, it's not because they don't love the person.
Right.
It's just that they have fear. Raised in an environment where they've been isolated from
humanity. Right.
Yeah, from holopathic answers. And, how long do you work on flipping them over, or just abandon communicating with them and work directly on the patient?
Well, the first time I see someone, I spend about 2.5 hours with them, especially if they have a spouse. If they bring a spouse, it's going to be 2.5 hours. And by the end of that time, there's usually a shift. And then there's the next appointment where they have homework to do, and and they know that I'm there for them, and that makes them feel like, oh God, well, somebody's there, And most of the time, things like that get worked out unless that person just has fear inside of losing them. But after they read and we go over the fatal description of what's going to happen if they do this, they go, yeah, well, maybe it's not the best way. Maybe there's another way. Maybe we have choices. What choices do we have? What countries do we need to go to get them? So the point is helping the person, no matter what it takes, helping that patient, no matter what it takes. And it takes a kindness, it takes love, it takes understanding, it takes strength, it takes listening to them and really hearing what they have to say. And if you're listening right now and you go, gee, I'd like to do what Dr. Dale does, go to the California College of Natural Medicine, www.traditionalnaturopathy.com or www.cconm.com. Okay, and look up some of our trainings. Some of them are entry level, like our clinical nutrition is comprehensive, very, very amazing, and has all the foundational sciences as well as the homeopathic medical practitioner training. And you want to look them up and see, is this something that you want to spend time doing with people? Because as soon as you make that decision, you will love these trainings. And it's about making that decision, making time in your life, a little bit every day or maybe 3 to 4 times a week that you can put into studying. And then when you graduate, you have a certificate in the state of California whereby you can help people with their nutrition or the homeopathic medicine. And that's key. Helping other people is the key to success and happiness, I believe, is that success is knowing you've done the right thing and seeing people thrive from the connection that you have with them. So we only have about 8 minutes left, and I wanted to share a couple of things with you. I'm having fun today talking with Daryl. Next week, we're going to have my dentist on that I go to once in a while. I've used different biological dentists, and one of them is Dr. David Villarreal, and he's going to be on next week, next Tuesday, here in studio. So you're going to see him and see me, and we're going to talk about dental, root canal, different health issues, and don't forget to come because you're going to love it and you can share it. So sharing it is very important because that's a great way to help humanity, to help people. We have to get the information out. And the information that I'm giving you is from my research, from facts, and also from working in nearly 40 years with patients. And this is information that can make changes in your life quickly. Okay, for example, using the biofilm detox for pathogens, it works right away. You start feeling better right away. Things that you didn't even know could be helped or you forgot about because there was something more urgent going on in your body, some of those things might also clear up. So we have about 7 minutes left, and I am being a good timekeeper today, but I wanted to share with you there's just some awesome things happening in on the planet with natural medicine. I will tell you that the best way to treat yourself is with natural medicine, homeopathic medicine, nutrition, vitamins. Minerals are phenomenal, as well as diet. You can't eat enough green vegetables to have as much magnesium as you need. Magnesium is responsible for and connected to 350 different enzymes that we have in our body. So magnesium is connected to 350 different enzymes that our body produces, and enzymes that are so very important for our health. And whenever we are off, like for a day we're not on our diet, or 2 days we're not on our diet, we're eating foods that are not good, fast foods, we are destroying a lot of the magnesium in our body. We are going to be magnesium deficient. We get our magnesium from vegetables and fruits, and there's many things that have magnesium in it. So I created a ionic magnesium for people who can't possibly juice enough green vegetables and healthy things and get it down in one day, because it would take you all day to do it, and stuffing that Vitamix with all this spinach and kale and celery and everything, and doing that 3 or 4 times a day, that'll get you enough magnesium. But a lot of people don't have time, so that's why I make an ionic magnesium. It's in drops. You put some drops in water, take it like I did this morning. That's it. End of story. So very easy. And, well, I think we're just about out of time. The only thing that is really left to say is that your mental attitude, how you feel mentally, how you look at the world when you get up in the morning, is better when you don't put the news on. A lot of people say, I was feeling really great. And I go, well, when do you get depressed? Well, I get depressed every time I turn the news on. Don't turn the news on, right, Daryl? I mean, it's pretty depressing.
It is, and a lot of times now the news is not really the news anyway.
It's not the news. It's
not.
Stuff.
It's a giant infomercial about stuff that's coming up.
Right. It's like an infomercial, and it's, in other countries they might call it propaganda. We call it an infomercial.
Yeah, I really don't turn on the news to find out what's happening on other entertainment programs on the same channel.
Right. Yeah. The news is can be very depressing, and I see that people, when they do watch it, I try to find out when they come in, why are they feeling negative? What do they do during the day? And there's a commonality of watching TV and watching the news and getting on that. And they watch it all day long because they're not working or on Social Security or whatever they're on, and they're just sitting there watching the news. This is like a recipe for disaster. Don't do that. There's a new program that I really like. I think you like it too. It's called God Friended Me.
I like that very much. Yeah.
Isn't that a great one? I mean, there's a few funny, good ones. We have 3 minutes left, and the other one I really like, it's going off the air soon, but it's really funny and silly, is Big Bang Theory. Yeah,
they're in the final episodes of that. They said there's nothing left to write, or they just ran out of material.
Yeah. I think they've done it all and said it all.
Well, it was a thinking person's show too, which was great. Like Northern Exposure. I don't know if you remember.
Oh,
that
I remember that show. That was good.
Yeah.
That was very good. I like that. Yeah. So be careful in what you watch. Don't watch things that are depressing and violent, and just decide that you're going to use your mute button, change the channel, and keep yourself really positive, because just from watching negativity, it'll affect your mind. It'll affect your feelings. Your whole outlook could possibly change. So we also want to remind you of that. Listen to classical music. Listen to music that feels good. Jazz is good. There's so many. Music is a healing tool, but you want to listen to positive things, or instrumentals and things like that, So we want to thank you so much for being with us today. This is Dr. Teresa Dale, Natural Health Radio. Many blessings. We'll see you next week. And bye-bye for now.